the feelings that you kind of live for. These feelings are, I'm a very competitive person. I want to win at anything that I'm doing, whether it's board games at home with the family during the holidays or fighting in the octagon. But, you know, they're back there. I wish you guys could meet the people that are backstage with the UFC that work for Dana White and the Fertitta brothers. They're the greatest people, the nicest people that you'd ever meet, and Bert is one of them. And sometimes you'll see him on the highlights, and you know he's always yelling, and it's go time, baby, it's go time, and that's what you're hearing back there, and you're warming up, and they actually have in our locker rooms there's little monitors, so we all are sitting back there watching the fights that you guys are watching on TV, so we know when to start preparing to get warmed up, and you know, it's exciting when you finally get to warm up. I feel like I'm in the zone. Everything has never felt faster or better in my body when I'm preparing for that, and I think a lot of that has, you know, with your body just being prepared, and the walkout coming out to the, you know, 20,000 some screaming fans is unbelievable, and you know, I always make sure that I'm living in the moment, and you know, this is a lifetime of memories, and I always remember the checks too, where the referee is checking me, and because, you know, I always give my coaches a hug, and I always tell them I love them, thanks for everything, and then you know, I always say a small prayer before I get into the octagon, and then I just know it's time to fly and have fun. You know, this is what I've prepared so long for, and I always know, like 2 or 3 weeks out before my fights, that I just wish I could fight today. I just wish I could fight today. So by the time your training camp gets over, you're ready to fight, you're excited to fight, and there's no other feeling like walking out, and especially after having your hand raised and being in the fight. It's just an unbelievable feeling for me. People think about us getting hurt during the fight, and that's not it. That's not the punching that I take in the head. It's the sparring 3 days a week that we do that's full on with 16-ounce gloves. Sometimes you come out of there, you know, if you took too many shots, you didn't have a good practice, you're punch drunk, and I'll be the first to tell you do feel it. And I know I've had sparring partners, not naming names, but where they've taken too many punches in the head, and then right after the sparring practice, they've gone out into their car and they just cry. You know, it messes up the cortex of your brain, and then it can make you very emotional. So the sparring part, we have reduced. It's only down to 2 times a week now. We went to a more controlled grappling practice where we grapple harder, and the sparring is definitely reduced down to try to provide longevity to our guys, and obviously their lives. I'm intrigued by the heavyweights, and I think it's because of the one-punch power, the knockouts. You know, those little guys, I wish I had their energy. You know, just watching them, I get tired, and you know, they can throw a million punches and go 5 rounds. You know, if a heavyweight hits you with a hard punch, you're going down, and it's lights out. And I think that's what's always been exciting for fans in the heavyweight divisions as far as boxing or MMA. Well, there's a lot of days that are like that, and you know, what drives us in the end result is, I always tell people, you know, you have one life to live, and what are you passionate about? What do you want to live for? Why not do something in life, and people call it a job? Why not chase something that you're passionate about, and it's not a job? My engineering job, I love to go to work. It's not a job for me. I go in there and I get to develop and work on things, and obviously it's created new opportunities for me elsewhere, and fighting isn't a job either, but you know, sure, there's some days I'm so sore that I don't want to get out of bed, but you know, I'll tell you, the first thing I look at is my kids, and what I'm providing for them is a life. Right now, hopefully providing an education for them for after they get out of high school. So, you know, a lot of these things that I do things for my family, just like my mom did for me. first started, as you can see in that Wellish fight, I came in, my first fight in the UFC was about 255. Stayed very strict on what I was eating. It was chicken and you know, your whole grains and honestly a little bit of fish. I like tilapia. I'm not a big fish fan. I wish I loved salmon. And then I kind of drifted away from that and got to the idea where, you know, I thought I could eat whatever I wanted. And I still took all my supplements, the proteins, the creatines, the branched chain amino acids, you know, the carbs that they had made in a drink and stuff. And unfortunately, I think, you know, like I say, you live and you learn, but I drifted away from that a little bit towards my later fights against Frank and Brock. Here's one thing nobody probably knows is a month before I fought Frank, my wife, we had our daughter, and I took the entire week off from training. I spent the entire week with him in the hospital, which was the right thing to do on a personal level. But during that time, you know, I ate hospital food. I was eating Fritos with chili and cheese on them and stuff. And, you know, I thank God that didn't go 5 rounds. The UFC, they're a smart entity, and Brock is a big name. And let's face it, you know, Shane Carwin wasn't a big name as Brock. Brock has millions of followers from the WWE. He fights in a pay-per-view every time. It's over 1 million buys. To me, you know, he wins those. He beat, I think, was it Heath Herring first? Is that who? Or no, he fought Frank. He fought Frank first and lost, and then beat Heath, and then got a shot against Randy. You know, as far as a business goes in the UFC and what they're trying to establish is making money. You know, they're not out there for fun. I totally understand and get where they're coming from, but you know, guess what? Someday he's going to have to fight, you know, the guys that have worked their way up, and that's exactly what's happened. So, you know, I think it's been great for the sport, actually, for Brock to have been put in where he was and did, you know, had some success. And I think it's brought more fans to the sport, converted some of those pro wrestling fans, hopefully, into something that's a little bit more real. And you know, I think just overall, I don't have any bad feelings about it. You know, I think it was the right thing that the UFC did.
And is it just rumors that, you know, he might go back to wrestling, or is there any insight to that?
You know, I don't know. I would honestly, I would highly doubt it. He's under contract with the UFC. I don't know for how many fights, but that's not going to release him to be able to do anything else. So people that are talking about him going into the, you know, why the Undertaker was there, I have no idea. Or what he said to him was, you know, something Vince McMahon probably set up stupid. So, but I'm guessing that Brock is under contract with the UFC for a while, and I guarantee he makes enough money to change his life and probably all of our lives in here. So.